this time.
You did. You didn't
I was
cough
on
through
harmony.
it. You didn't laugh, quote, through it. Last time you said you laughed, and I knew it was a cough.
I can't promise I'll do the same next week though. So
I knew it.
You never know.
I totally called it.
Welcome back to the Summer
Mystery
Tapes.
Files
the
presents
summer
the
tapes?
Summer Tapes. The Mystery Files presents the Summer Tapes.
You're doing the long poster version.
This is my life is the poster version, Logan.
We should. This is honestly kind of like a. This episode's gonna be kind of like a little special inside of the special. So it's like it can be like 3 things. Like
it's actually a paradox.
It's a paradox.
It's a paradox. Remember?
Yeah.
The paradox episode?
It could be like the Mystery Files presents the Summer Tapes presents Campfire Stories.
Presents our special guest.
Our special guest, yes.
We have a special guest this week, guys. Isn't that wacky?
Should we summon him to the stage?
I think we should summon him to the stage. Are we ready?
I'm thinking.
Summon, summon, summon. Wow, wow, wow.
Hello, guys.
Hey!
It's Benjamin Volk.
It's Benjamin Volk, my fiance, but also
one of our technical producers and big helper anytime there is an issue with our audio.
Yes, he's a delight. Say a little bit about yourself. What are you up to these days?
Just living the dream.
Living the dream?
Yeah.
Heard you got a band. What's up with that?
Oh. Plug in the band already.
Yeah.
Called Valley View. Just started playing drums in this band. And just doing the things.
Doing the thing. Well, welcome
Go
to our
through the
show.
motions.
Benjamin studied music, so
studied
he's
music. He's very
Very good.
musically inclined.
That's me.
He's also very intelligent, so it's really going to bring a lot to the podcast, I think.
You're selling me a little bit too high, maybe.
No, you got the smarts, we got the funny.
You've been like the behind the scenes guy for all of me and Tiffany's antics for like a very long time. So it's
Very
crazy
long
that
time.
you've never been on before.
This is a long time coming, I think.
No, it really is.
We've been like saying we should do this, and we just never do.
I've been
This
saying
week
that I
is the
should come
time.
on since like the radio days.
Yeah, since back when we were a
Yeah,
radio show.
we were a radio show.
So it's so cute. Now you're actually on it.
You help us anytime we're like crying, trying to figure out how the soundboard works. You helped write a musical with us in under 24 hours.
You
Which
did.
is
Probably do that.
probably one of the most impressive things we've ever done as a
I
group,
stand
I'd
by
say.
The
a lot of
Amelia
that.
Earhart.
It was actually pretty good.
It was
For 24
cute.
hours, it was pretty good.
Some of the songs were actual bops.
Yeah.
They were.
Also, Amelia Earhart.
Amelia
That whole
Earhart.
plot line.
Her fortune?
Chaos. Amelia's
Have
fortune.
have
Earhart's
you
fortune.
seen like Amelia Earhart's a meme now?
Is she
like
actually?
on
But
TikTok?
I think today's it's her birthday.
Is it?
Yeah,
Shout
I
out
think it's today.
Amelia.
Oh.
Wait, why have we never done a
Amelia
case on Amelia
Earhart.
Earhart?
Huh?
Why have we never done a case on Amelia Earhart?
I feel like you definitely have.
Well, we briefly talked about her, I think,
July
in the
24th.
Bermuda Triangle episode. But I think that was the last time we ever talked about her.
Yeah, we talked about her briefly now, and we've never done a full episode. Maybe that's something for another
Maybe
season.
she's coming. Maybe she's brewing.
Mhm.
Unless that's what Benjamin's doing.
Stop. Watch it, movie. Damn it.
You're like,
So
no!
glad it's so close. Yes, we are so excited this week to finally, we get to have all these different stories this week, so it's going to be a lot of fun just
Yes.
to hear from everybody.
Yeah, so to kind of explain what we're going to do is we're all 3 of us have picked a mini kind of case to talk about today. I'll be going first, and then Benjamin will take over, and then Tiffany will take over.
I would be numero 3.
Because we know our listeners seem to really liked the mini mystery one we did for the Christmas special,
Yeah.
the little wheel moment.
That one
when
was
we picked
fun.
each one.
That was cute. I want to
Yeah.
do that again for a different holiday.
And it makes it a lot
Halloween
more fun.
for sure.
Halloween
Gotta do
wheel!
a Halloween. wheel.
Halloween wheel. Oh, it
That's
could be like
really
a giant
cute.
pumpkin.
Oh my god!
Oh, that's a great idea.
We have to
Wait,
do it. I'll make
do we
it.
still have the wheel? We
Oh,
bought
yeah.
a wheel.
Yeah,
just
we still have
one.
it.
The wheel.
We do.
Yeah.
It's in our window seat in the bedroom.
You can pick the cases out of a pumpkin.
Oh
out of
my
like a
God,
pumpkin.
Those plastic candies.
Yeah, like the ones that you actually go.
That's
trick or treat.
genius. See, this is why you're on the show. We
See?
me
I'm an ideas guy.
You're
That's
pitching
what
the
I do.
plans. You're pitching the plans, and we love it.
every time me and Tiffany do an episode, that's when we figure out the next step of the podcast.
Yeah, we're actually just talking through it. There's no cases here. We're actually just playing stuff.
We're just talking about marketing plans.
Hey, but most of the time we've eventually figured it out. Like the merch thing, we've talked about merch for the longest time. We finally
yeah.
made merch. So
Yeah,
just saying.
we're finally
planning.
putting things into fruition.
But yes, also if you guys want to check out that merch or just us in general, we're on Instagram at @themysteryfiles_.
Yes, and at linktree.com/themysteryfiles. It's an easy thing to type in. Please just look at all of our resources.
Look how cute. Check out our merch. Please get that tote bag. It's so stinking cute. I love it. It's my favorite thing.
It's a great tote bag.
Thank
yeah,
you.
so
But yes.
last week we talked about the
The
bubik.
bubik.
The bubik.
The bubik. That kind of freaked me out after. I don't know about you.
Scarecrow thing? It scared you after?
When I was like trying to go to bed, I was thinking about it, like sneaking through my window.
Oh my
I don't know.
gosh.
Bad vibes.
I think about it all the time. So
The
we have a fire
boo.
escape, and
Ooh.
like our curtain is kind of like see-through. So I
Mhm.
look at it all the time and think, if I just woke up in the middle of the night, there could be someone just standing there, just shadow.
Oh my
Just,
gosh.
But you'll never find where we live.
I think mine is pretty obvious, but do you guys have like a case like we've covered before, or like just a case in general that like keeps you up for a while? I know you just said like the Bubic, but was there anything else like that was an issue?
Oh, now I'm really trying to think. Do you have one specific?
Mine,
it seems
mine
specific.
was, mine was Robert the doll. Sorry, Robert.
Oh,
I
yeah, I'm saying his name again. You better apologize.
no,
You're
you have to
Simon.
apologize immediately after you say his name.
Yeah, sorry, Robert.
I left that episode. I was freaked out. I was like, I'm gonna get
Mm.
hit by a car on the way home. Like something
Oh.
evil's gonna happen to me.
Oh,
Because I talked about him. I every time I think about that episode, I'm like, oof. I really got through it.
Because didn't you have really bad luck after that episode too? I feel like there was all this stuff happening right after that you were like, I should not have.
I think so. I think I had a rough 2 days at that time. I was like, this is it for me.
You did it to yourself. Also, I'm trying to think back. I'm like, what do we even cover? I can't think of any of our other episodes. This is me.
One that hit me was the Jersey Devil.
The New
Oh
Jersey
my
Devil.
God.
Yeah, when I was listening to it, I'm like, I have to stop. I don't know what
Oh wait,
happened.
I remember that's when we used to go live on our Instagram, wasn't it? And you had to shut off the live video.
Yeah.
Remember you told me about that one.
See, does that make us more sadistic? Cause that's like
I'm
child's
like,
play to me. I was
that's
like,
just
oh,
the Jersey Devil. That's nothing. That's nothing at all. It's so cute. But
I feel like
yes,
that kind of shows it.
we are excited to currently scare you tonight. I feel like at least I have some creepy stuff on mine, but I'm excited to see how creepy you guys get.
Mine is wild.
Mine
I'm
is not
excited.
creepy.
But-
So, we'll see.
Mine
I'm
is
intrigued.
creepy, but it's on the verge of almost funny. I don't know how to
Oh.
describe it.
I don't know how funny mine are, but they're definitely horrifying. These ones will give you nightmares for sure.
Oh my gosh.
So to end with me, it'll be perfect.
Should we give me a little drum roll to go into my case
Yes,
this week?
I'm gonna do it on my cheeks.
On your cheeks.
Oh, that's a
Yeah.
good place to go.
Thank you, thank you.
Alright.
Okay, you ready?
This week on the Summer Tapes for case number 1, we will be discussing the Book of Miracles.
The Book of Mormon.
The
What's
Book of Miracles. So,
Never heard of that.
so first I want to shout out a couple places. I want to shout out openculture.com, theguardian.com, and the New York Times for
Ooh, shout
covering
out.
this case.
Wow.
I watched a YouTube video about this
Mm.
last week, and I was like, wow, this would be such an awesome case to do on the show, but it's too short. So
Wow. The world said, here you go.
I found the perfect place to do it. But I will get into it. So let's see here. Okay. So when we speak of a lost art, we do not always mean that humans have forgotten certain production methods. Modern craftspeople can recover or reasonably approximate old techniques and materials, and produce artifacts that can be passed off as authentic by the unscrupulous. The spirit of the thing, however, can never be recovered. Try as they might, scholars and conservators will never be able to enter the mind of a medieval scribe or a manuscript of an illuminator. Their social world has disappeared into a distant mist. We can only dimly guess at what their lives were like. Thus, for many years, the reception of Hieronymus Bosch, the bizarre fantasist from the Netherlands whose visions of earth, heaven, and hell have amused and terrified viewers, stressed the proto-surrealism of his work, assuming he must have had other intentions than protolization. So, basically, this is a book that is... So, it's called The Book of Miracles, and it was written in about the Germany in the 16th century. And it is a prequel to the Book of Revelation.
Oh, God.
So
Darkness. Pure darkness is what you're telling me.
so basically, we'll get into like each little thing that happened, but the miracles are usually all like terrifying, like punishments onto like the world, because God said he would punish the world with his like miracles.
Oh, no.
And according to a lot of people in the 16th century, there is like documentation that this stuff happened, but it's like crazy
Ew.
stuff. So
I'm scared.
so like historians like have literally been like, I mean, it sounds really bizarre and there's like no way that could actually happen, but we also weren't there, so I can't really prove or deny if it did. So
Okay, so it's real, is what you're telling me.
But-
Within reason, depending on what
in
you're about to
reason,
share.
yeah. Like some of the stuff that's happened is just what are you talking about? Um but all these pictures, they have settled on a name because it's a bunch of illustrations that were made by this artist. And they settled on the name of the Book of Miracles.
Okay.
The date that they have for when it was made was about 1552, so 16th
So
century.
she's elderly.
Yeah,
She's old.
she's an old one.
She's
But
an old
when
girl.
I was talking about my roommates with this. This is also really fun because it's the 16th century, and everything from like 16th to like 18th century is so like a lot of hysteria.
Oh,
think we
yeah.
talked about that
like
last
the dancing
week.
plague. Wasn't that in that
Yeah,
whole realm?
just like everything has to do with like Satan or like God is showing our wrath on the
Yeah,
earth.
there's witches. There's like...
Yeah.
I can imagine all the darkness back then.
Yeah, no, exactly. So they kind of break it up a little bit into a few different places. So they break it up into the Old Testament. So they like show a bunch of different illustrations from the Old Testament, and then there's a middle section which is called the Miraculous Signs, which according to a lot of people in France at this time, they said they saw these things happen.
Oh, no.
They were like, this happened.
Okay, I've got some witnesses.
And then they talk about the Book of Revelation in here.
Okay.
So I'm going to... So there are a lot of pictures in here, but I'm going to kind of like describe them in detail for our audience.
Yeah.
And if they want to look up the Book of Miracles, they can see that as well. So, all right. So for the Old Testament, we have this illustration from Noah's Ark of the first flood.
Oh.
So kind of like... it's very interesting because they make the ark kind of look like a temple,
yeah.
almost like it was a sacred place, which I think is a very interesting...
Is that really small? Like, from what I'm seeing, is it just like a small little temple in the middle of the water, or is the water part of the...
I feel like they're trying to like show like scale of like a giant amount of water.
Okay.
You know, like the ark looks small in comparison because it's
Mhm.
so wide.
Oh.
And it, like, if you really look at it, it is kind of like a very beautiful illustration.
It is.
It
It's
is.
also very ominous for people who aren't watching. It's just a bunch of people like
Right?
swimming around this temple. That's supposed to be the ark, I suppose.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just ominous.
And there's someone on like a seahorse here going on.
chaos.
Are they trying to show things that didn't make it onto the ark or something?
They said.
I
Only
mean,
the
it's
people?
possible,
They said
yeah.
Beach, but not
I
you.
mean, seahorses exist.
Right, guys?
Seahorses exist? Wait a second. Seahorses are real?
Yeah.
Wait
Fish
a
hooks who?
minute.
Fish hooks who?
Wait a minute.
I thought seahorses
There's
were
no
fake.
way. Oh my god. They're
This week we've learned seahorses are real.
So then we have the parting of the Red Sea, which is kind of shown as like a smoky little cloud,
Oh.
which is kind of interesting. They kind of show it being split, like it's like a giant smoke screen.
That's trippy.
Kind of
looking.
magician-like if you think about it.
These are cute. You should post these on our Instagram story after we post.
That's
this
what I was
episode.
wanting to do when I
Yeah.
told you about promo pictures.
Those are cool.
Interesting.
So I'm going to like just kind of wheelhouse through these ones. So there's Jonah and the whale right here. We got Mr. Jonah hanging out before, you know,
Before the
big
whale
dinner.
sitch.
Yeah.
He's just sitting by a tree beside the water, guys. He's not in no whale yet.
Okay, and then this is Ezekiel's vision. Do you guys know about this in the Bible?
Not at all.
I can't place it.
So Ezekiel in the Bible said he saw God, and there was this like ring that was like spinning, and this is an angel that has like the head of, I believe it is a bull, a human, a leopard, and a peacock.
That's
Oh.
horrifying.
Nice.
Respectfully,
Very
I'm scared.
interesting choices in
Yeah.
visions.
I always got so freaked out when I would see like interpretations of angels and stuff in the Bible because it's like stuff with like a bunch of different faces,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and that is so
Like
creepy.
ones that they're just covered in eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, in those old paintings where sometimes people are like, this thing in the background looks like a UFO.
Uh huh.
They're actually like angels
Oh.
in the
wow.
paintings. Like people think that they were trying to put God in the painting.
And they were like, it's
But-
this angel.
But it looks like a UFO, but that's just like how angels are supposed to look.
Yeah.
Maybe, hear me out. What if aliens are just angels?
I mean,
point.
Yeah?
Point
Oh.
made.
Oh?
Oh,
Just saying.
it's a
we're
big
speculating.
possibility.
It is.
And-
interesting.
I could see
Maybe
a
we
lot of people.
rationalized their existence as godlike beings.
They
you
are.
know, we just like diluted them enough in our brain.
They're just little
I don't know.
I told, speaking of just like aliens and stuff, I told Danielle this story before I came here, but
Mhm.
I was telling her, I remember there was this time I was at Bible study, and I was like 8 years old, and we were reading the Bible, and there was just this part where they were like talking about like this foreign alien from like Mesopotamia or something like that was
Oh.
coming like to an area, and the
Mhm.
one guy in our class was like, "Oh, do they mean like actually extraterrestrials? Because they
Stop.
meant alien?"
When I was
And
little.
when I was 8, I just like turned him and I was like, "Are you stupid?" Like in Bible class.
I was probably gonna get kicked out. You should have got kicked out for that.
Well, no. My teacher was like, "Oh, well, we don't know. Like, you can interpret the Bible in so many ways." I was like, "They don't mean an extraterrestrial."
Maybe they did. Maybe they did. How do you know, Logan? Did you write the Bible?
Like literally in the sentence, they're saying what location he came from. You're saying an alien came down, went there, and then traveled to the.
To be fair, for the longest time, even when I still read Alien, like if it's like someone from another country or something, when I'm reading Alien, my first thought is still like
Oh,
extraterrestrials.
absolutely.
It's never, and
Mhm.
I will still picture people from another country as aliens if they're called aliens.
Yeah.
I can't
Mhm.
separate that in my brain. So that kid was onto something. Biblical accuracy.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely like was like a dated term. I was like surprised to even like kind of see that in the Bible. I was like,
Yeah.
what?
I'm gonna have
was
to
like,
look that up. I'm like,
yeah.
maybe it was actual aliens.
But that's what makes this so interesting is why this like thing is called the Book of Miracles, because it's not in the
Mhm.
Bible like at all. It's like
Yeah.
a prerequisite to the Book of Revelations.
Ooh.
But funny enough, Protestant Christians condemned a lot of the medieval magic that was talked about in this. They said the recurrence of miracles in the Bible meant that the Protestant reformers of the 16th century could not reject such wonders as superstitions in the way they scorned Catholic beliefs. Marina Warner writes at the New York Review's of Books that German reformers were on high alert from the miraculous and anomalous. The 16th century Zwinglian clergyman Johann Jacob Wick filled 24 albums with reports of such wonders in broadsheets and pamphlets, seeing signs of the birth of a two-headed calf and an unfortunate flipper-handed infant. So there's which is very interesting. Why I wanted to talk about
I feel like
this.
I might have seen imagery for a flipper-handed infant from something. I don't know where.
Really?
Is there also a picture for that explanation too? Or, I
I
don't
think
know.
there is. Yeah.
Because I feel like I might have seen that somewhere. I don't know why, but that sounds really familiar to me.
Yeah. Well, the stuff that's talked about in the Book of Miracles is just crazy. I think it's honestly
Pure
crazier
chaos.
than Revelation in my eyes. But that's what makes it so interesting is that this person is talking about how there's literally people who went on record saying, I saw these things happen, and it is like you could probably find these public records somewhere.
Wow.
But it's just like crazy to think about. Like, did he actually see like a two-headed calf get born? To us, that sounds crazy.
Yeah.
But it's like the scientists can't say it didn't happen because they don't have proof to neither
Yeah.
deny or
It's just
approve
weird.
it.
I don't know why we don't see more stuff like that, honestly, like two-headed cats and things, because there's like twins who like are born attached to each other, and there's people born with like several extra fingers and things like that, but I feel like you never really see like animals with more than one head or
Yeah.
something. Like, what's up with that?
I
You
think
never
it's
see
like
it.
very slight, and even then it's kind of like cryptic stuff. Like it's a lot of clickbait articles.
Yeah.
Of like did not actually
What do
happen.
animals have that we don't? Why aren't they doing that as well? You know? I feel like it's
Mhm.
very common in humans. Not very common, but way more common than an animal.
Yeah.
You're right.
Weird.
So we're gonna now get into the Book of Miracles, like the actual like book of like what these people in the 16th century said they saw.
The Book of Miracles.
So miracle number 1
Yeah.
is there. Okay. So first thing that happens, it's like pretty tame. It just hails. These people are out at like a little dinner and it just starts
Aw.
hailing. That's the first sign of this.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Super believable. Just,
It's
you
just
know,
hail.
it's hail.
Unless.
It's hail.
It's
Unless.
hail. Unless it's not.
But then we move on to the next thing that happens after the hail, which is a rain of blood and flesh flying from the sky.
Every time I've ever heard that, I'm like, I would simply throw up. I'd simply pass out.
The one that gets me is flesh.
Flesh.
Not just
Yes.
blood, but flesh.
Ew.
Flesh is probably one of the most disgusting words. Nick's
really is.
words.
It's so gross. Also, just
Flesh.
looking at that image, if you guys end up looking it up, you can literally see the little chunks of flesh in the
Oh.
rain.
But it looks just like little red brushstrokes.
I know it's not.
I
know it's flesh.
Your brain can't like compartmentalize.
I'm like, that's someone's like kidney or something floating down the sky. That's actually disgusting.
Oh my
Ew.
gosh.
Why isn't it like the middle part? It's just plain. It's like normal skies.
It is wild. What
That's
was the next
so
one?
gross. That poor city.
Oh, this one's my favorite. They said they saw 5 suns come down from the sky.
Oh my
Gerber,
god.
With, like-
Gerber
What-
babies.
yeah,
No.
they look like the suns
What
from
is it?
what is that show? The
Teletubbies?
Teletubbies.
There's 5 Teletubby sun heads
Yeah.
in the sky.
That's literally what
That's
it
so
looks like.
ominous. Did they see faces in them actually, or they just saw 5 suns? Because either way, that's really scary.
I think it's like a mixture of like both. I've like from the articles I've seen, since it is such like 16th century thing, it's like this person said this, but this person also said that. So there's some
Mhm.
accounts that people just saw like fiery 5 suns
Mhm.
coming down and just like burning them, but then also
UFOs?
like,
Question mark?
huh?
UFOs? Question mark?
UFOs.
Oh, you know what? That's like a. It always comes back to
It's
aliens,
always the
doesn't it?
aliens.
I feel like I'm the aliens guy.
That's
on this,
okay.
You know,
You
you're
should
the guy on
be.
the History Channel or whatever that was always like, aliens.
That's you.
I guess that's me today.
That's you. But also, looking at that, I can also imagine maybe some people did see faces. If they were staring into the sun long enough, I'm sure you'd see something.
That's true.
That's all I'm gonna say. But like
Yeah.
seeing 5 suns, I'd think it was the end of times.
Mhm.
Personally, I'd be really horrified.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
So the next 2 that are in here, I think is very possible did happen because there is documentations of it. So this one I thought was interesting. The next thing they said they saw was like a giant red comet like coming down into the
Ooh.
world.
Scary, but the artistry is really pretty in this
Right?
photograph.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing is, comets are a
Comet.
thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Real.
they're not real. But like according to this, they think scientists think at least that probably during this time period there was a lot of comets that we're being able to see because we didn't have like skyscrapers
Mhm.
Yeah.
or electricity,
Or
things like
messed up
that.
with
Like
the
you can
ozone
see
layer.
light
Yeah.
much easier.
We weren't a broken universe. Is the ozone layer like real goofed up right now?
And then
All that stuff up there. We're
And
not
then-
seeing nothing.
and then the next one that they believe is factual as well is the eruption of Mount Vivassus.
Ooh.
They believe this eruption had happened before, so it's like an eruption of like this big volcano.
What year was that one? The one of the movie? You know what I'm talking about?
What?
Pompeii.
Pompeii. Is this supposed to be like
That's
Pompeii
in,
vibes?
That's like
8 or something.
8.
The year
That's in the
eight.
year 8.
8 BC.
Hold on, let me look it up.
I want to see. Maybe
We're googling.
I'm like, I just want to see if I can find the examples that these are from. But either way,
Oh,
I'm
it's
sure
79.
it's not the
AD.
year 8.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Ooh. I want to see a volcano, but obviously when it's not erupting, you know.
What?
Obviously.
Hawaii.
Hawaii. Let's go.
All right, so those are like the pretty like normal like
Normal.
ones. Well, you know, like I could think, oh, a volcanic
Who
eruption.
hasn't
Ah.
seen some blood and flesh
Ooh,
rain?
hasn't
Yeah.
been there. Been there, done that.
This one's my favorite because like the beginning of the Book of Murals is just so like slow. Like they soften you into like, yeah, it's just
Mhm.
It's just
some blood rain,
some
some
flesh.
hail. The next thing they say that happens that people saw factual evidence for is that they
Oh,
saw
no.
a 7-headed sea beast come from the sea
Oh,
and
no.
roam the world.
Is this Dragon Tales? Why is it actually cute? I mean, I'd be scared if that thing was running towards me.
It's kind of cute, right?
cute.
I'm kind of scared, but
She's
I like
kind of
it.
a cutie pie.
She's a little cutie pie.
But yeah, it kind of has like different like shapes of like different animals on its head, which a lot of like multi-headed creatures in that time are depicted
Does
as.
it got like peacock wings? I can't really see. It kind of has pretty wings.
Dragon.
Kinda. I mean, it's got furry legs behind it. They
It's
need
got like a
shave.
snake tail. You gotta look this up, guys. This is really freaking me out.
And then
Oh,
this
no.
is my favorite, monstrous birth.
Ew.
That's what you were talking about.
I know.
This is like a kid with like it's a baby with 2 heads, but it's got like 8 butts, 8 legs, and 4 arms.
Not 8 butts.
That's 8, right? One,
Well-
2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it's 6 butts.
But no,
geez.
it has 3 butts because it's 2 cheeks per.
Where maybe I don't
It's
know,
got
but it
6
only has
cheeks.
2 heads.
6
So where did it
cheeks,
get the
6
other
heads.
pair of butts from?
Look at all its shoulder muscle things. Ew.
When I was looking at this thing kind of looked like me with the hair. I was like,
Logan,
that's
no, it
me
does
a bit.
not.
No, it
That
does
looks
not.
really scary. His face, that's something that'd run at you in the nightmares.
After I was doing this case, I like got this like paranoia feel of like this thing's gonna run at me. Like
No,
I'm
its
gonna run
eyes-
into it.
It's lifeless. Its eyes are lifeless.
Imagine you just saw this walking around and just starts charging at you.
I think it was the apocalypse if that thing came running at me.
Yeah.
These people are seeing that?
Yeah.
No wonder they thought it was the end of times.
Well, yeah, because like that's like the thing, and like Christianity was like it was told that there would be like miracles that would happen.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the last thing I'll show of this time period. There's like this giant hailstorm that happens, but it's like icebergs, like giant things of ice just slamming down.
That could destroy a city.
Well, there's again like ideas of documentation that giant things of ice like that had destroyed cities.
That's
But
scary. Ew.
We don't have that now. We have hail, but we don't have giant ice cubes basically doing things like
Ew.
that.
I'm just gonna live in a sunny place. I hope nothing like that comes back.
But
Ew.
yeah, so that's kind of pretty much a rundown of that stuff. And then they kind of go into like the book of Revelation a little bit and the stuff in that, and that could be a whole episode
Revelation.
in itself. That book.
That'll give
is
real nightmares
wild.
there.
Oh, actually, this is the last thing I forgot to show.
Yeah.
This is the one I wanted to show as well. So there is also this account that people saw this giant baby in the sky
Ew.
fighting these horsemen. Like people were looking up at the sky and thought they saw this like giant creature. Like,
That's real
fighting.
trippy. For people who aren't looking at this photo, it's like a huge body of water. There's like a city, creepy baby with a sword,
Yeah.
pointing the sword at all these horses with people on them
According
running
to like
towards it.
the Christian documentary, they think like this is like kind of like was an angel they saw that was like protecting them in the
Okay.
heavens.
Yeah.
But that's one of the reasons I want to do this case too, because like it's just the idea of a giant red baby in the sky fighting a war. It's like I can't say that did happen, but I can't say it didn't either.
How are people seeing this? They got like some rickety plane in the sky, and they're like, "Look to the left, you'll see this."
Well, they probably were like looking up, and they were like, "Oh, wow."
I saw down this guy.
That reminds me
Oh.
of the allegory of the cave. Did you ever hear that?
No.
No, it's not.
Okay, there's a. It's I'm going to explain this badly, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So essentially, there's these people that are stuck in this cave, and the only way that they have any idea of what's out there is by shadows that appear on the wall. And then one person finds a way to escape this cave, and they go behind, or they go to a different part of the cave, and they realize that other people are keeping them there, and then projecting these shadows on the wall for them to just look at and believe.
Oh.
So like their whole world is only defined by what they can see on the wall.
That's
So,
creepy.
It's the allegory of the cave. Like you only can believe what
Okay.
people show you.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's what that reminds me of.
I
'Cause
mean,
it's like
yeah.
giant.
I
things
think
in the
that's a
sky.
really good idea because these like paintings were made also in like the 16th century. So you know, at the same time, it's like if you can't take pictures and all you have is illustrations,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna think the painting you're seeing like is
Is the truth.
factual,
Yeah.
is true.
Mhm.
Also, have you seen those that are like somewhat accurate to like right now? People are like holding like things shaped like cell phones, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, it's predicting the future." Have you seen those?
Oh,
Mhm.
absolutely.
And it's real trippy and creepy.
There's a couple pictures that I've seen.
Yeah.
There's one that it's from like 1920, and a guy
Oh.
looks like he's from like 2013.
Yes.
With the outfit and everything.
And it has an
They're
iPhone
like,
or something.
yeah, it's real. We don't know how this guy
Time
is this.
travel.
Yeah.
It's time travel.
But yeah, that's kind of everything I have to show for that. What do you guys think?
I think it's amazing. I like kind of want to look into this book because I just want to see why it was created, who like, did they contact these people to be like, okay, who saw what? Let's get an accurate.
Let's get an accurate idea of it.
Yeah, like, that's so weird. Just the fact that people have claimed to see all that stuff really weirds me out.
Mm-hmm.
Too real.
Yeah, if you want to look into it more, and if anyone listening wants to, there is a YouTuber named I'll leave the link down below as well, but it's spelled Hochalaga. He's a YouTuber, and he did the video that I watched that inspired me to do this, and it was a very, very fun summary of just everything that happened then. So yeah.
Yay.
So the things that you showed us, did you say that they were like another artist did those pictures that you showed us, like based on the manuscript? Was it
Yeah, it was one artist that did all of those illustrations, but they're from documentations of like what people really said they saw. So he was trying to like mark history, even though he may have not seen them himself.
Okay.
Those are really cool.
Interesting.
Either way, that stuff with all those heads and
the baby with the heads.
the baby with the heads and
that's the one.
the blood rain.
Well, that's why it's so interesting, because it's like religion, it's supernatural. It could technically count as like maybe not true crime, but it's like like I said, it was like scientists were literally like, I can't say it didn't happen.
Well, it really depends on what that baby did. I'm just saying, what if it went and just has the sword? It's killing something, right?
It sees someone trying to like make a document about it, and it's like cutting it up like a shredder.
It's a true crime. Hey, this little baby sword.
But yeah,
Cute.
I guess that means the Book of Miracles will
Yes.
remain a mystery.
Yes, it will remain.
We'll harmonize at the end, I think.
Yeah, we'll have our final harmony at the end.
Yes.
Okay.
So moving on
Okay.
to Benjamin.
It's my turn.
It's your
All right,
campfire
mine's
story.
super duper different.
Should we do a little drum roll
do
for
our
you?
drum roll.
Do
Ready?
the drum roll.
Okay,
Ready?
Okay, for my first case, my first appearance on the Mystery Files, I have chosen the disappearance of Philip Taylor Kramer.
Ooh,
Okay.
I don't know what that is, but I'm
Okay.
excited.
Okay, I'll do a little backstory.
Okay.
Philip Taylor Kramer was a man of many talents. He was by all accounts a genius who had a degree in aerospace engineering.
Huh.
He worked for a governmentally contracted firm working on missiles before starting his own firm called Total Multimedia in 1989 with Randy Jackson,
Stop
brother
it.
of
Oh my
Michael
gosh.
Jackson.
Oh my gosh.
Whoa,
Wait,
that's
what?
okay.
That's so confusing to me because I have seen nothing about his involvement in this, but
That's
yeah.
chaotic.
And before that, the reason I heard of him was because he played bass in a later period version of this band called Iron Butterfly that had
It's a
one
great
hit.
name.
Yeah, in like 1969 called Inagata Davida.
Oh
We
my
have
gosh.
that album, by the way.
That's amazing. You can listen to it after, I think.
He was in that band from 74 to 80, but that's not important. After he left that band, he went and got his degree in aerospace engineering. Okay.
Wow, a
Okay.
musician and getting a degree.
Wow.
Yes.
You said,
Wow.
you said big brains and music. He's just like you.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
got the brains.
You're gonna
Okay.
go to space.
Space.
All right, so on the morning of Sunday, February 12th, 1995, Taylor Kramer had to be on the road at 9 to head for LAX to pick up a business associate, Greg Martini, and his wife. He was supposed to return to Thousand Oaks, where he lived, with the Martinis to pick up his wife Jennifer, and then the four of them would go to a relaxing dinner. The day before he disappeared, Taylor Kramer thought he would take his kids for a bite, finding only 40 cents in his pocket. That's
Oh.
important.
Makes
He
sense.
turned to his dad, Ray Kramer, also important, and asked for a few dollars. Ray did what he would never do and said no. It wasn't the money, of course. It was Taylor. He was exhausted, burned out, just shot. I laughed and told him to go home and get some sleep. That night, he slept only fitfully, getting up a few times at least once to run complex mathematical equations on his laptop computer. It wasn't unusual for him to do this, says his wife, but in the weeks leading up to this particular night, it had been the norm. Like 3 or 4 weeks of just on non-stop, just total sleep deprivation. So that the next morning, he left his house at 9 and stopped at a medical center to briefly visit with his wife Jennifer's father, a cancer patient. Then he repeatedly checked in by cell phone from his van to report that the plans for the day would just be changing. In those calls, his voice took a completely different form. Without the characteristic upbeat lilt, yet energized to the point of sounding out of breath. In one call, Kramer asked Jennifer to tell Martini, if Martini were to phone her, to take a cab from the airport to Westlake Hyatt Hotel. Kramer said he would meet everyone there in an hour later than planned at about 2 p.m. with the biggest surprise for you, Jennifer recalls.
Oh.
Interesting. I'm
Oh.
scared.
Kramer also dialed Ron Bushy, the original Iron Butterfly drummer and Kramer's close friend, and said, "Bush, I love you more than life itself." And in another call to his wife, he would say, "Whatever happens, I'll always be with you."
Oh, that's so concerning.
That is so like
It's so ominous.
premeditated. It feels
Yeah.
like.
He's like, hey, I'm gonna skirt. Bye. Bye, I love you.
Then came the dreaded call at 11:59 a.m. from somewhere in the San Fernando Valley on the Ventura Freeway to the 911 operator. "This is Philip Taylor Kramer, and I'm going to kill myself."
Oh my
Stop.
god.
Yeah.
Oh,
If he
no.
did, he left no trace. Neither the man nor his vehicle had been found,
What?
and all articles relating to him, such as credit, ATM cards, and cell phones, have all gone unused.
Oh, that's weird.
The first reports
Whoa.
of Kramer's disappearance said he never made it to the airport and that he pulled a U-turn in LA or in the San Fernando Valley and was driving around making calls. Backing up that notion was the fact that Martini couldn't find Kramer at the airport. However, Taylor Kramer's absent-mindedness over money left some tracks. 10 days into the investigation of his disappearance, a form letter arrived at the Kramer's home seeking $3 for parking fees at LAX. It turns
Oh,
out
no.
Kramer was unable to pay his tab because he only had 40 cents in his pocket.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And couldn't leave the Delta lot without signing an IOU. Kramer was at the airport for 45 minutes that day of his disappearance, parking records show. No one saw him, and no videotapes captured his appearance.
That
And
is
where was he?
wild.
Where'd he go?
So he just like up and disappeared. Like he said, I'm going to commit suicide, and then just did not.
He just disappeared.
Like it was a cover. Like he was
What?
trying to make a cover up out of it.
That's what it sounds like.
Or
Oh,
maybe
that is so
someone like
intriguing.
stole his identity and like tried to sound like him. Like someone really sounded like him. I don't know.
Mhm.
Or like held him at gunpoint or something to
Okay.
make him say
Oh my
something.
gosh.
This gets crazier.
Oh, no.
boy.
Okay.
Oh no.
Something happened during that time, either in his head or at the terminal, that made him turn away, said Chuck Carter, a former LA cop and drug enforcement agent who was working with the Kramers as a private investigator. And he says, "I'll tell you, I haven't had a clue. The guy didn't have an enemy. The guy was a dedicated family man. I checked him out. Whatever happened in his head while at the airport or whatever happened right in the airport, I've got a feeling we'd have to learn from Kramer himself." That guy also feels that the disappearance itself is a bit of a conundrum because Kramer was a 6'5" man, like blonde hair, bright blue eyes. If you've got a vehicle out there and you're just walking around, nobody's gonna not see you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna
huge.
make some impressions on people.
Someone's gonna remember you.
Yeah, they're
And-
gonna be seen.
People did.
Yes, they
Mm.
should.
He was spotted at sites in Canoga Park where Kramer lived in the 70s while he was playing with Iron Butterfly. A pawn shop manager recalled a man fitting Kramer's description who had no interest in selling his wedding ring, but instead talking computers. Then at Santa Monica Pier, then at a soup kitchen in Long Beach, probably because
Okay.
he didn't have any money.
Mm.
And then at a Ralph's supermarket in Agora Hills, an elderly couple was approached by a very tall man fitting Kramer's description. He said, "I'm in trouble and need to call my family and only have 40 cents.
Oh, well, then there you go.
Yeah. And he said, "Can you help me?" They did not help him because they thought he was a
Crazy.
beggar or a bum or something.
Yeah.
But the woman said, apparently, chastised her husband later because she thought that he was genuine and sweet and was literally looking for some help.
Which he
Aw,
was.
Which he
yeah.
was.
His wife Jennifer later received a call from a man whose voice she is convinced is Kramer's, but is deeply
Oh.
stressed, and as she puts it, the person of the voice who is completely out of it. The caller just said, "Hello, hello, hello," and that was it.
That's so scary.
Yeah.
Imagine if she's like waiting to hear from her husband and that's all she gets. Like, I'd be panicked.
Just like a
Terrifying.
hello.
Or if you've been waiting for days and that's all
Yeah.
you get.
That's like, it's very
Oh.
Stranger Things when Will goes missing.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
Will.
Will, is that you? Like, it's the same sort of.
Like you're holding on to that hope for as long as possible.
Yeah. But also the fact people saw him and he was so distressed when she got that call. It's
Yeah.
like, what is going on?
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
His father remained unconvinced his death was suicide. Taylor had
Mhm.
told me a long time before that there were people giving him problems. They
Oh.
wanted what he was doing, and several of them had threatened him, he told me. If I ever say I'm gonna kill myself, don't you believe it, I'm gonna be needing help.
Stop
Well,
it.
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's after him?
I'm gonna skip to the end here,
Okay.
and then we'll go back.
Oh.
In May 1999, 4 years after Taylor's disappearance, 2 hikers who were shooting car wrecks in Decker Canyon near Malibu discovered the rusted shell of his van with him inside of it. His death was caused by blunt force trauma. But
Oh my
the authorities
gosh.
don't know whether it was suicide, an accident, or a homicide.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's
Ew.
what?
4
What?
years it took them to find him.
I mean, right off the bat, I think it is probably homicide,
sounds like
right?
homicide.
Because
Yeah.
if it's blunt force, like
Yeah,
trauma,
you have to imagine.
Yeah.
and if he wanted to still be living after going missing, he probably was not trying to
No.
do that.
like his van was okay. It was just rusted. It wasn't like bashed in the front or something. Like he crashed into something.
Sounds like it was just on the side of the road.
Oh, then someone probably hit him in the head or however they did
That
it
is
and
wha-
put him
but
back
how
in the van.
how'd they find him?
Yeah.
Oh.
At the airport, maybe.
At the
I don't
airport.
know.
What?
Okay, so let's
Ew.
continue.
Okay.
Let's go back. In the time of his absence, a lot came out about how he was under enormous business stress and was, quote, galvanized by a euphoria over recent mathematical discoveries he believed he had made with his father. His firm, Total Multimedia, was a maverick in video compression, the technology that stores videos on CDs. That was like a
Oh.
big thing. It was a thing that was starting
Yeah.
probably before that, but it was becoming a thing in the 90s.
Oh.
But that company weathered storms in the marketplace and had bitter infighting during a 1994 bankruptcy in which Total Multimedia kind of just barely got out of with the help of Greg Martini, who he was picking up at the airport that day.
Oh.
He was a huge investor in the firm, and because he was investing so much, they had to reorganize the whole firm, which this whole organizing and bankruptcy was apparently very traumatic for Taylor, because this is what he said: within that process, a lot of greed came out, and greed was the most offensive thing to him. It hurt him to his core, he said. Total Multimedia continues to have problems with infighting, and had gotten to the point where Taylor felt he couldn't trust anybody, including Greg Martini.
Oh.
No.
Here's what's interesting. On the morning he disappeared, he took his wife aside and said, "At some point, I'm going to need an hour alone today with Greg." That's all he said.
That's concerning.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
He apparently never got that time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
'Cause
They
Wait.
never talked.
He never saw him, quote
So my
unquote.
question
Oh.
is, just so I'm understanding the time here, did Greg get to where this missing guy got to, but when he was alive still? Does that make any sense?
So apparently, Greg claims he didn't see Taylor at the airport. So Taylor was there
Okay.
for 45 minutes, but
Waiting.
Greg never saw him.
Quote.
I think that's a quote unquote. Never
Okay.
saw him.
Like,
Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't see the guy.
I mean, it's possible. I don't have the times that he left before the plane got in.
Yeah, that's my
Or
only
something like
question.
that.
But I'm like, he could be there for quote 45 minutes
Yeah.
and have been there longer and went missing because Greg pulled some shady stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know for sure.
So
Yes.
Kramer's father was also a retired engineering professor, and he was also part of this firm, and he was a bit of a genius himself. I heard some things that he spent a lot of his life trying to discredit Albert Einstein's theories.
Okay. All right.
Listen,
Weird
I
guy to
didn't
pick
see-
beef with.
Yeah,
but
I
okay.
didn't see anything else other than that. So, okay, that's interesting. He was a retired professor of electrical engineering and joined in 1989 when it was just starting. Above everything, Ray Kramer's abiding passion was in working out mathematical equations that sought to advance the understanding of the cosmos at large.
Okay.
As far back as 30 years prior, Ray felt that he was onto something original, and only recently did he and his son manage to yoke the power of these equations in the computers that they were trying to develop.
Mm-hmm.
The breakthrough that was happening, in fact, came just 2 weeks prior to his disappearance. And a euphoric and elated Taylor, his father says, dubbed it Ray's moment. His father's moments. All of these theories coming to fruition.
Oh.
While the essence of their work is a complete secret still, Ray Kramer allows that he has long sought through the study of gravitation waves and particles to determine whether transmission faster than the speed of light is possible. That's what they were working on.
Whoa.
If so, that is, if there were a light barrier to pierce, just as there was once a sound barrier to break, it would mean that communication could occur via gravity waves anywhere in the universe within 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
To the extent science can measure the universe, light takes 10 billion years to cross it. The implications of Ray Kramer's theorems, should they work, are thus revolutionary not only to science but to life everywhere it might exist. That would bridge the two disparate fields of electromagnetism and gravitation. A grander application of such a theory could potentially lead to the invention of teleportation. So,
Let's
big
go.
things.
Yeah.
What if he teleported through all this stuff?
Yeah.
Like how they have like no
He
evidence
just
of him.
left. Yeah.
He just teleported.
Oh my god.
Crazy.
Then he wouldn't need to pay for parking, I guess. But
He could have had a breakthrough, like at the airport, and be like, "Oh my god, I have to go."
Yeah.
But maybe it was
Like,
too
I don't
much
need
for
this
him.
anymore. It's
No, I don't need Greg.
Maybe he was able to do it, but like something about it like hurt
Huh.
him physically, and he
Yeah.
died because it was too much energy for him to process yet. You know what I mean?
So,
Ooh.
the great challenge to an outfit like a firm like that would be harnessing a piece of theoretical science and making it serve a here and now video or computer product that you can just sell, like in the marketplace, that makes money for a company. Total Multimedia specializes in fractal compression, a mathematically driven software-based approach to recording and playing back video images that does away with the need for computer hardwares such as accelerator cards and other high-end accessories. This is 30 years ago, so we're probably far past this at this point.
Yeah.
So we can definitely teleport now. That's what I'm saying.
Maybe.
Yes.
We can teleport and then
break
some.
The government can. They just not shown us yet.
So,
Wow.
when questioned about this when he disappeared, Total Multimedia declined to say how something related to Ray's moment and the subject of 2 sleepless weeks of Taylor Kramer might be of commercial use, if at all. Sounds like they're hiding something kind of shady.
It's pretty shady.
Jennifer Kramer, seeing her husband act with obsessiveness and run equations at 3 a.m., was concerned enough to ask Kramer what it was that was driving him so. She quotes him as saying, 1 week before his disappearance, "Imagine being able to flash up a picture of a missing child on this computer screen, or even part of a picture, and with this new equation, being able to find that child in a fraction of a second." But Ray Kramer joked about it, and he was like, maybe his disappearance is his idea of testing us to try and find
yeah.
it.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah.
It's like Clues almost.
Yeah, like, oh, I think we can use this.
Well,
Why don't you figure it out?
Didn't it say
Yeah.
too that like he called like in multiple different areas too?
Yeah.
Like he was like, I'm going to commit suicide. Teleport. I'm
Yeah.
going to commit suicide.
He
Like,
was
keeps
all
hopping.
over Los Angeles with these
Wow.
sightings of him.
And like all the
Everywhere.
hellos in the phone, it's probably like him testing it from something maybe. Like hello, hello,
That is
hello.
so spooky.
It's
Ew.
spooky.
She's spooky.
Prior to this, Kathy, Taylor's sister, said he was so excited that he was calling the math sacred. She was worried that he was having visions. My brother takes on the weight of the world upon himself. He loves Jennifer and he loves his kids dearly, but he banked everything on this discovery with my dad, and his mind just ran away with it. He talked of supernovas, earthquakes, and all events having no coincidences. She feared that he had some kind of breakdown. Jennifer also recalls that Kramer, in his sleepless euphoria about the apparent breakthrough stemming from Ray's moment, was jumpy about the presence of patent attorneys at Total Multimedia's offices. He had, in the week before his disappearance, said, "We've got to be careful." Spooky.
I'm thinking maybe like he did figure it out, and then as soon as someone from like his firm or something realized what he was doing, maybe they took him out.
Nixed him.
Yeah.
They nixed
Ooh.
him. That's mine.
He was releasing scientific technology he shouldn't have been.
They're like, don't be messing with that yet.
Ooh.
He worked for a governmentally subcontracted firm at one point.
Oh,
I'm
so,
just saying.
gosh.
He knows who to mess up.
on the Friday before his disappearance, Taylor Kramer had a 3-hour meeting with Dan Shields, his colleague, and another founder of Total Multimedia. This was 2 days before his disappearance. Kramer paced around the conference room. Shields was on the couch. According to Shields, Kramer was in a euphoric state. "I told him to just go home and get some sleep," said Shields. He was really going on about everything, at times not holding things together. Taylor is a great guy, though sometimes the little stuff stops him. I mean, this is a guy who doesn't know how to swap computer files between directories, but who, if you ask him, can sit down and do a huge compression on a drive. He's amazing that way, but on that Friday, he was having trouble, and he was clear that he had not slept for a long time. So he was having these kind of delusions of something.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Kramer did go home. He didn't get some sleep, and he still vanished with 40 cents in his pocket.
Wow.
And that's the extent
Oh,
of it.
wow.
So, yeah. I'm going to posit some theories.
Okay.
This was something I thought. Taylor, feeling the immense pressure of a potentially life-as-we-know-it breakthrough, experiences a psychotic break brought on by weeks of sleepless nights, coupled with the pressure of having to take your breakthrough to a company that had been marred by continuous infighting and reliving the trauma of the resulting greed of trying to implement such a life-changing discovery.
Mm-hmm.
He has to meet the man who helped save his company but forced his family to reorganize it to include him. He knows that he has to talk to Greg Martini about it, hence the hour alone with Greg. Hence the wish for an hour alone to talk. But instead, he leaves the airport before he can face him, doesn't pay his parking fee, and runs around Los Angeles before eventually killing himself. That's
4
a
years
thought.
later, though.
Yeah, well,
Not fine
his
till 4 years
remains
later.
were skeletal.
Oh.
At that point, they found his body.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Oh.
That's
All
scary.
we know really is that he went to the airport, left without picking up his business associate, made several sporadic and troubling calls, called 911 and declared that he was going to kill himself, and wasn't seen again until over 4 years later, that when he was discovered. That's all we really know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My question, this is the crazier one,
Mm-hmm.
was there really someone after him and threatening him about his most recent discoveries? His father seemed to think so. His father said that if he ever claimed he was going to commit suicide, that he would be in big trouble. Who are these people he was afraid of? He died of blunt force trauma. The police couldn't determine that it was a suicide. Were there forces larger than him that would cause him to be put in such a situation, forcing him to make scattered calls and placing a very clear 911 call stating that who he was and what he was going to do? Which doesn't seem like a logical thing that you would do if you were in that state. He says,
Yeah.
"I am Philip Taylor Kramer, and I am going to kill myself." I don't.
Yeah.
Would you say that?
I think especially the way he was going about saying it, it was almost like, hey, what is it, the stepdad? Who was it?
his father.
His father. He was telling his father, like, hey, this is what I'm saying. I hope you
Yes.
pick up on this because I'm actually in trouble.
That's
Yeah.
the one that's so confusing. Is that his dad specifically said? He said, "If I
Yeah.
ever say that, I'm in trouble."
And I
Yeah.
believe it. I genuinely think he was in trouble.
It
running
sounds
from
like
these
he
people.
was in trouble.
Mhm.
And it sounds like it too, like he maybe wanted like the police to think he did that or something. Like he wanted public knowledge to be like this person is dead, even when he wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
That is wild.
That is
like
wild.
that. I also gotta say, Benjamin, your like storytelling voice is very good.
I
Like
know.
I was like so invested
That's
over
why
here. I was like,
before we even started, because Benjamin was a little nervous before we started. 'Cause obviously, this is his first podcast, so welcome to our podcast.
Thank you.
obviously, but you did a delightful job. But even I just want to go off your theories for a 2nd.
Mhm.
I feel like all of them are very well thought through, and I feel like they even have room. It could be a teleportation thing
Mhm.
in addition to
Mhm.
all of that, because I feel like going off the thing with the psychotic break, it could be a psychotic break because he's also figuring out if this is actually real. He's also figuring out that he can teleport, so of course you're going to be losing your actual mind if you
Yeah.
find out you can do something like this. But in addition to that, it could also be people chasing after him because they're realizing what he's doing and he's not supposed to be doing it.
Mhm.
So they're going
Mhm.
after him until finally they catch him
Yeah.
And he's on the way there. He's reporting to all these people, hello, hello, I'm going to do XYZ. Hear what I'm actually saying, please, and help me. And it's too late.
I mean, I agree with that. If I discover teleportation, I'd be kind of like scared for myself because a lot of people would not want me to have that knowledge or that power or want to take that.
Also, I
knowledge
feel
or
like
power.
that would feel like physically crazy to be the only person.
Yeah.
It's like, am I actually doing this? Am I okay? Like, I would feel like I was losing it a little bit.
If you were in trouble with someone like larger than you, he's at the airport. Where else? It's like the perfect place to ambush him because he's at like a government style building. If you were trying to like stage someone has a psychotic break, what would you do? You would have them go around the city, make very memorable appearances. He goes to a pawn shop and he's talking about computers with this guy. He's not trying to sell his wedding ring. He's trying to talk computers. He goes up to this couple. He specifically says, I only have 40 cents in my pocket. Can I call my family? That's confusing a little bit because he has a cell phone, but maybe it's gone dead by this point.
Or he's being tracked.
Or he's being tracked.
He has to
Get
take
rid of it.
Yeah.
How does the van get there? You know, and they find him 4 years later.
Yeah.
It's just like wild though, like, because I was thinking, why didn't he take like cash out of the bank? But at that point, like they could have backtracked that and been like, he took out like this many things. Like that's a lot of.
Everybody in his family says he would never leave his family like that.
Yeah.
And it's just the quote, if I'm in trouble and I say I'm going to kill myself, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
Like, that's so specifically.
This was like calculated from him. It was a setup to try to escape from something.
Yeah.
It really
something
does
was
sound
coming
like
from
Also,
him.
him continually bringing up the same facts to people, it's like he kind of wants people to be his witness. Like, okay, I have 40 cents in my pocket. People are all saying the same exact thing. It's almost like he's telling it to leave markers for other people to end up trying to find him because he's running from these people.
Yeah.
It's very
He's also
thoughtful.
all over Los Angeles, which
Yeah.
could be a thing like he's trying. Either someone took him and they were like trying to plant this, or he was actually trying to get out.
Yeah.
So he's all over Los Angeles, like on many different places. Santa Monica here. He's in Malibu. He's in which is not close.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Los Angeles is huge.
it's huge. So all in the course of a day, he's going all over these places. So he's like kind of trying to put breadcrumbs of like where to find him in many different places of the city. So it seems like he had a psychotic break, or I don't know.
Yeah.
You just don't know.
Wow.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it was a little bit of everything, genuinely.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
feel
love
like
that one.
That kind of stuff will lead you to a psychotic break, and I feel like even all the nights leading up that he wasn't getting any of the sleep, I feel like if you had that kind of knowledge and knew that like you could be in danger for having said knowledge, I wouldn't be able to sleep either.
That knowledge plus being sleepless, being sleep deprived.
You're gonna act a little crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
good case.
Thanks.
Great case.
What would you say remains?
Yeah, I was about to say, you have to do
Yeah.
that thing.
We'll never know what truly happened. So the disappearance of Philip Taylor Kramer will remain a mystery.
Wow.
Yay!
Oh my god,
That's
so
so
cute.
good.
Thank you for that case, Benjamin.
It was
It's
so
good.
good.
It's good stuff.
It's good stuff. It is good stuff.
I was saying I had no idea how to prepare for this show.
No, it was perfect.
I've
great.
seen Tiffany not print, but like do pages and pages and pages of notes.
That's just how I work. That
Yeah.
doesn't
There's
mean
me who
anything.
kind of wings the script most of the part.
Yes.
So, all right.
But yes, mine over here is going to be a little shorter. She's a whole different format.
Great.
Of course, because
Love that.
as you know, for most of my cases, I like to do a little umbrella type
course,
case.
yeah.
So I feel like this introduces some fun little things.
If it's about trees, we're gonna go into every form of tree and
Yeah,
where
I'll go
they
into all
came
the.
from.
We got oak. It's from Oakland.
Oakdale.
Oakdale. Oak trees from Oakland. But no, I'm excited to have a few cute little stories to share with you guys. They're
Would
not
you
as in detail as you guys, but they're definitely more horrifying. So,
I'm excited.
okay, can I get a little drum roll on your cheeks? Well, this week on these summer tapes, I present the case of creepy legends around the world.
Oh, that's like
So
so
vague.
Like,
I know.
So vague.
Well, listen,
it's like a
listen.
whole thing.
The thing is, I had saved 2 of these cases a long time ago because they were really small. So I was like, when
Like
can I ever do this?
babies.
They were baby. They're all little baby cases. So I was like, I'm just gonna have a little around the world moment for tonight, so I can get all these small cases I've been wanting to talk about, but have no opportunity because they're way too little.
Yeah.
So I'll get into my little intro. You
Okay.
ready? So, urban legends exist all over the world, and I've scoured the globe to find a few of the eeriest and the most pervasive ones. From a bewitching woman in Egypt to a 13th century town in India where the residents seem to have disappeared into thin air,
Ooh.
I have a few tales that are certain to keep you up at night. So let's get into it. So before we really get into it, I really want to shout out a couple little websites I found some info from. We've got scoopempire.com, insider.com, and bustle.com. So thank you guys.
Oh, wait.
Come on.
I'm going to shout out LA Times because they did an article for mine and I forgot to say that. Thank
good.
you, LA Times.
Thank you, LA Times. But yes, thank you to all our websites we've been using forever. We love you the most.
Thank you for doing the research that we are not able to.
Yes, we will research your research, but thank you for doing it first. So let's get into the first little story. So this one's just called The Girl in the Bathroom. This one is from Japan. So we know from our past excursions in Japanese lore and all that kind of stuff that it's always real scary. They do a good job. Horrifying.
So horrifying.
So let's get into it. In Japan, the schools contain an infernal secret. If you go into the girls' bathroom on the 3rd floor of the building and walk to the 3rd stall, you might find her. You have to knock 3 times and call her name. When you open the stall door, a little girl in a red skirt will be standing there. The little girl with the bob haircut is known as Hanaka-san, and I'm sorry if I said that wrong. She wants friends to play with, maybe. Or perhaps she wants to drag you to Hecky Wecky. Through the toilet, might I add.
Nice.
She wants to drag you to Hecky Wecky through the toilet. So,
As you do.
One person is quoted saying, "Depending on which part of Japan you live in, she may have a bloody hand and grab you, or be a lizard that devours you."
A lizard?
So imagine just there's a toilet and you either get dragged by some bloody hand or a lizard that just eats you.
It's
from
like
your toilet.
It's like a lizardy claw, like it's all scaly
Yeah.
and cold.
And first you see a little girl standing in the bathroom stall. Immediately no. Immediately no. It's a no for me. So to continue this little quote, it says, "Although I am getting scared just thinking about her right now." So the person is horrified, like thinking about this girl that she has seen.
Oh my
She
gosh.
has seen her but lived. And Hanaka-san has become a fixture of Japanese urban folklore over the last 70 years. The most popular origin story for the tale holds that during World War II, a schoolgirl was using the bathroom when a bomb fell on top of the building. The school collapsed on top of Hanaka-san, who has been trapped there ever since. So something very tragic happened to this little girl. So now it seems as if she's haunting the bathroom because her soul is stuck there, that sort of thing. And also, I just want to shout out a little thing that seems very similar, not in like what happened, but ghost in the bathroom. Obviously, I'm going to think of Moaning Myrtle from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
All my Harry Potter peeps will understand. So
That one's kind of interesting because it's like it sounds like it's more like in recent years folktale than like hundreds of years.
And
That
it's just
sounds more
creepy that
recent.
it's recent. Because it also kind of, like, it's still not done yet. There's a little bit left of it. But it also kind of reminds me of, like, something with, like, Bloody Mary. How there'd be, like, a
I was
bathroom.
gonna say, yeah,
It has
reminded
Bloody
me of
Mary
Bloody
vibes,
Mary.
too. But to continue the last little part, it says, Bahanika isn't the only schoolgirl who haunts Japanese school bathrooms. So Kashima Reiko, another girl who said to have been cut in half by a train, now her disfigured spirit inhabits bathrooms, asking children who enter the stalls where her legs are. The legend goes that if Kashima Reiko is not satisfied with their answer, she will rip their legs off.
Oh.
So
How do you answer that question?
Yeah, what do you even say? I don't even know.
Oh, just rip the legs off?
That's
Ooh.
actually disturbing.
Absolutely not.
But yeah, so we got some really creepy stories.
Huh.
But
Yeah.
I don't want to see any of that kind of stuff when I'm trying to go to the bathroom.
It's
you know,
giving
personally.
me... I think we talked about it either last week or the week before, but like it's kind of giving The Ring a little bit too,
It's
like kind of
definitely
like
giving The Ring.
crawling out of something, but instead it's
Ew.
like a toilet instead
Imagine
of a well.
someone crawls out of a toilet all bloody. I would pass out.
And then it's like half lizard.
You're trying to relieve yourself. You're gonna try to go to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
That's not peaceful. No wonder people don't want to go in public restrooms. No wonder they don't want to get eaten by some lizard.
Specifically.
Yeah, me specifically after
That's
this
similar
story.
to like snakes in the toilet. Have you ever
Yeah,
heard of that?
oh,
Like in New York City.
That freaks me out. And then I saw this video the other day. Isn't a toilet necessarily, but it was a bathroom sink. There's like a hole in like the front part of the bathroom sink, and some person saw like these little antenna, and it was a cockroach in their sink, and they didn't realize. They looked down.
Our coworker recently
Yeah. Oh no.
they were at home.
Uh-huh.
All of a sudden, there was this big splash from the bathroom.
Stop
No.
A bunny came out of the toilet.
A bunny?
It was alive. It was a
What?
bunny.
How did it not drown?
I don't know.
Wait.
How'd it get in
came
there
up
in the
through
first
through
place?
the pipe.
You're gonna tell me who this was after, or you can shout him out.
Oh, shout out to Jay.
Jay, what?
What? That's wild.
Yeah.
Jade, where'd you put the bunny? Or did it find its way
They
out?
took it out.
Oh my gosh.
They kind of like
Oh my
caught
god.
it and then took it outside. And it was fine.
I'd be horrified.
Yeah.
Simply horrified. Okay, so
A
just
bunny.
don't go to the bathroom ever again. You're not safe in your own home. You're not safe in a public restroom.
Nope.
So you don't want to see any girls standing in your bathroom. You don't want any of that. So that's the first case. And then I have one more from Japan after that. So this one I'm probably going to butcher the name, but it's Kushasiki Ana, or also known as the slit-mouthed woman. This one,
Oh.
she's a nightmare walking.
Okay.
So another ancient Japanese tale, the story of Kushasiki Ana, was revived in the 1970s, becoming incredibly popular and prevalent. The tale is a simple one. You're walking alone on the street and run into a woman wearing a surgical mask, which is a popular enough thing to see when it's cold season in Asia or during a pandemic. So the woman will ask you, quote, "Am I pretty?" If you say no, she will murder you with a pair of scissors that she carries.
Oh, wow.
If yes, she will remove her mask to reveal that her mouth has been slit from ear to ear,
Ooh.
a la Heath Ledger Joker. So, like, she's very Joker-y.
That's like Jeff's a killer.
Yeah, oh, don't even. That's.
That creepypasta? That's exactly like that. How he smiles like up to his ears.
Ew.
Oh.
I just hate that it's like, if yes, she will, like, reveal her mouth. I don't want to see her mouth if I'm like, yeah, you're pretty.
That
But if you don't,
changing
you
gears,
die.
that sounds like a dope Halloween costume.
It does, but I feel like you don't want to know it's real, though. You don't know if it's real. So I guess she'll reveal her mouth has been slit ear to ear, and then she will jokerize you as well. So, although the idea of random ghost murder is terrifying, in 2007, a coroner found records from the 1970s of a woman who chased children, and her mouth was slit from ear to ear.
Oh.
So, like, this is something based in truth. It's something it's seen. It's on a coroner record.
Ooh.
So,
that is wild.
It's freaky that it's actually based in truth.
The amount of paranormal things that are just on a document record
Yeah.
is insane.
Or she was, like, a serial killer.
Sounds like a serial killer.
But, like, I feel
Yeah.
like that's something that would then, if she passed on, she would become a ghost. Like, a really messed up ghost.
Yeah.
So those are the two cases from Japan, and then I think I have one or two more, so we'll figure it out. But this next one is from India, which I don't think we've ever covered really anything from
No, I
India.
don't think we've ever done
Because
a
I
case
chose
from
this one, and
India.
I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so fun. Bring India in the mix. So, I love it. So this next case is called the mysterious town of Kuldhara. This village
Ooh.
was seemingly abandoned overnight, and no one knows why, though there are a few eerie theories. There are structures in the town Kuldhara that date back to the 13th century, but no one has lived there since 1825, when all its residents seemingly vanished into thin air. According to local lore, 1,000 villagers completely abandoned their home overnight without a trace. No one knows why they left, where they went, or even saw them leave. Theories as to why they left range from poisoned wells to a greedy ruler levying high taxes to a dwindling water supply, though none of these explain why the inhabitants left so suddenly. That noise outside was quite eerie. So you might be wondering why no one has tried to resettle the town. That's where the legend comes in. It's said that the village chief cursed the land. Apparently anyone who tries to live there will die.
Oh.
So,
Ooh.
I don't want to go there, personally.
Is it like
Sorry.
you move there and it's like that, or like it's slow and
Is it a slow death?
slow burn?
I don't know. Well, it's talked about, like, different theories, how, like, the wells could have been poisoned, so, like, it might be something that it's, quote, cursed.
It's uninhabitable.
It's uninhabitable because someone goofed somewhere.
You started
That's
that off by
spooky.
saying eerie theories. That's the Mystery Files alter ego.
Eerie theories.
Our spin-off series, Eerie Theories.
That's cute. Eerie theories. With the
That's the
mystery
mini.
files.
That's
my
the
gosh.
mini mysteries. new
Yes.
name, Eerie theories.
That's really cute. But to finish, like, if you try to live there, you'll die. The Indian Paranormal Society spent a night there and reported, this is what they heard. They heard disembodied whispers, screams, and noises are common at dark hours. So many of our members have witnessed apparitions, heard footsteps, experienced unusual touch, and so on. So that was according to the Gulf News. This is what people said and heard when they were there.
Yeah.
So it doesn't seem like a place I want to go. Like, I want to visit India, but maybe not this little town of Kuldhara.
Really?
Personally, considering
It
an
sounds like a nice
entire
place.
group of people disappeared. But it also reminds me of that one case that we had during our Christmas special, the mini mysteries. There was the little town that was people, like, vanished.
Oh
If you
yeah,
remember,
yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
what it's called.
I don't remember either.
But yeah.
Off the top of my head.
So there's
Ooh.
that one, and then I'll do one more
Yeah.
little one.
One more.
So let's get ready for the final one. This
Okay.
one is in Egypt.
I love
I love
Egypt. I'm
We
so
love
excited.
Egypt. Okay, So this last one is called El Nadaha. So it's a pretty little name. Probably said it wrong, but I still love them just the same. So this one originated from the Egyptian countryside of the Nile Delta, where people claimed that a siren, Logan.
Egyptian sirens
That sounds actually
Sold.
beautiful.
in the
Sold.
Nile River. Stop.
Oh my god.
Ryan Murphy.
Death on the Nile?
Where is he? We'll get him on the line.
Death on the Nile meets sirens. So claimed that a siren-like beautiful, mysterious woman appears in the fields at night. El Nadaha comes out of her water cavern and waits on the shores of the river among the bushes. She speaks a man's name, bewitching him with a chant-like call, that he drops whatever he's doing and whoever he's with to follow the sound of her hypnotizing voice. The poor fellow then finds himself lured into the Nile, where he inevitably drowns. It is also said that occasionally, El Nadaha could fall in love with the man she's calling and take him to the underworld and marry him. And she eventually kills him and buries his bones in her cavern, though, in fear that he may escape and reveal the secrets of her world.
Ooh, that is great.
Wild.
That is a great. I mean, it's not great what she's
What
doing,
she does,
but
but,
like,
like,
I'm
feminism.
loving that.
But feminism, right?
Oh, like kinda, yeah.
She's
Like feminism.
kind of feminism, but like, don't kill
Yeah.
people. You know what I mean? Just saying. But of these ones I talked about, which one do you think is the most realistic? Like, it's probably true. What was your favorite one, and which one are you most afraid to see of at night? So,
Oh,
give me
it's
some
gotta be
answers.
the slit mouth lady.
that's your most afraid
That's
of her.
all three. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
I think it's super duper possible
Yeah.
Yeah.
because like there was coroner reports of it.
Yeah.
It sounds like a serial killer.
Well, also it's freaky
Yeah.
now because
And
we're
it's-
walking the streets with masks all the time.
Ooh.
Like,
Yeah.
you don't know.
And like
Mm-mm.
walking home at night,
Yeah.
can you imagine if someone came up to you and just said, "Am I pretty?"
I would.
Like-
Ooh.
You're just like, yeah.
It's giving
and then it's
downtown
like,
witch. Personally, it's giving
Ooh.
downtown witch if she was wearing a
Mm-mm,
mask.
no, ma'am.
It sounds like
Horrifying.
someone that I just like, okay,
Alright.
just start walking away.
Yeah.
Headphones on.
Oh my gosh.
What about you? What's your?
Definitely, I have to agree with the Benjamin. The slit mouth lady sounds the most factual.
Mhm.
Most fun I had was definitely the siren run already, like off the
Of
bat. Like that
course.
one's so cool. I really like the idea of the Indian like ghost village. That's very
Yeah.
interesting
I'm
too.
Like, what's the tea there?
Like it's just kind of like worn down over time and like uninhabitable. It just feels like it should be a horror movie already
Yeah.
if it's not.
I
Mhm.
agree. I feel like for me, I'm gonna try to rank these the best I can. My favorite, probably the siren. One that's I have two that I think are kind of most factual. Obviously, the slit mouth woman, and then the whole like disappearance of that city because there's
Mhm.
obviously going to be records of an entire town not existing
Disappearing,
anymore.
yeah.
And like obviously people aren't living there now, and people are going and having these experiences that are factual. Like they're hearing stuff. They're like, all that's so cool to me.
Mhm.
And then what was the other one the most fun? Probably the siren. The siren. as well.
Definitely.
So now let's get into our little conclusion for these little cases. So, in conclusion, all of these creepy urban legends from around the world will forever remain mystery. But yes, that's my little case. It was a little shorter than
Yeah.
your guys', but I wanted to have a little,
No, it's fun
a little
though.
tiny story time at the end to settle things.
This is great. I love doing like with a third person in the
Yeah.
room.
It
It's
It was
really
fun.
fun.
I
I'm
like the
liking
vibes
it.
of it. It's
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah,
But yes, it was fun.
but should we all in harmony say?
We should.
I guess all of our cases will forever remain
A
mystery. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not the laugh again. He knows I hate it.
Shout out to
Yeah.
Oh my
Skunk.
gosh.
Shout out to some TikToker named Skunk.
Oh my
But yes,
gosh.
please follow at the Mystery Files _ on Instagram.
Yes.
Give Benjamin a follow. What's your Instagram handle?
I think it's Benjamin Volk.
Official? Is it official?
Is it
I'm
official?
gonna have to look it up.
Let him
We'll
look
put
it
it in
up.
the description as
Mingle.
well.
Yeah, so give Benjamin a follow. Thank you for being on our show.
Yes, thank you for being our
Thank
very
you for
first
inviting
guest
me.
guest
Yes.
star,
It's-
guest host.
You did
Oh, it's
great.
Benjamin R. Volk.
There we
Yes,
go.
follow-
VOLK, like the wagon.
like the wagon.
Yeah.
So give him a follow. Give our show a follow if you
Yes.
haven't. Thank you as always for listening. We love you the
Yes.
most.
And we'll see you next week. I think it'll be my case since you
I
did the
think
last.
so too.
Yeah. So we'll see you next
Okay.
week for my case. Thank you again, Benjamin.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks for having me.
Of course. All right. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
You were like, what are they gonna say?
See you guys.
All right.
Okay.
See you later.
Bye, sleep site.